So Nicholas, hi.
Hello.
So it's been like really intense process for you, right?
Yes.
For like 1.5 year. Am I correct?
If you're including the saving period,
Yeah.
because I had to work out the logistics and get the funds for it.
All right then. So I've got some questions for you related to the surgery.
Okay.
May I ask you, why did you decide to do limb lengthening surgery? What was the intention?
Oh, a few different things. I think if you look at the data, you'll see that there are a lot of prejudices against people below average height, and conversely, a lot of benefits for people above average height.
Yeah.
I thought that I was also a good candidate for it because my other proportions were aligned with somebody taller. And so I feel like I'm better proportioned now than I was before, and I have a height benefit. And
So what kind of benefits you got?
You have more confidence. They've even shown that there are biases in the workplace as far as promotions. You're taken more seriously. You have more inherent authority as somebody who's taller. Like if you have a manager who's 5'2", it's hard for him to even do his job just because he's so short.
Yeah, to make the employers do their jobs or
just they lack authority. It's just this prejudice that's everywhere.
So I feel you. Let's
it's unfortunate, but that's how it works.
Okay, how did you research? How did you dive into this journey?
Right.
Where did you just start?
Google. I started on Google.
All right, good.
Yeah, and so I didn't know anything about limb lengthening by any company, any doctor, and so I found out how it worked basically, and then I started emailing different doctors, try to get an idea as far as the prices. I was in the U.S. of course, and so my first inclination was to do it locally. It's way too expensive. This would be almost like $250,000. So it was completely infeasible for me. Like you'd have to be rich. So then I started looking at other foreign countries, and I was like, okay, comparing the prices, and patient histories and such. And then I came across One to Be Taller, and they were certainly the most communicative as far as the companies.
So you find us communicative, right?
Yes.
Right.
There are other doctors and places to where I would send them an email. They wouldn't get back to me until 3 weeks later if they got back to me at all. And then I would have a follow-up question, and they just wouldn't respond. And I'm like, don't you have an interest in having me as a patient? Or
yeah, I mean you're definitely right for that. So really glad to have you here, and it was it was a nice way of description that you just told us about finding the right doctor, the agency, etc.
Yeah.
So, what was your original height before the surgery?
I was 174 centimeters, or 5'8.5".
So right now?
Right now I'm a little over, I believe it's a little over 6'1" if you convert, 185.5 centimeters.
So maybe would you like to just lengthen your legs more?
Lengthen them more?
Yeah.
No, I'm happy.
Okay.
I'm very happy with my height, and
right.
I feel balanced.
So I think I should ask the scars, for example. Did you get frustrated for the scar marks, for example?
I had scars before.
Alright, so it won't be a problem for you.
Stuff. No, it's no problem. I don't really worry about scars, especially as a guy. I don't really worry about them. I think the only thing unique about these scars is that they're symmetric.
So do you have any discomforting issue related to walk freely right now?
Well, just because it's immediately post-op, there is some pain, but that's totally normal.
Alright, so what about the pain, by the way?
What about it?
The pain. Can you measure it?
Oh, sure, I can measure it. Well, right now, it's not bad. It's like a 1, if that, because it's really pain upon movement.
Yeah.
But for the surgeries, the main surgeries after, the first day after is always the hardest. The tibias were the worst, just because I think the pain meds were a little bit different. So it was 9 out of 10, sustained for 20 hours. I was just deep breathing.
For your tibia, right?
for the tibias. And then they got another, I think that it was an opioid-based pain medication for the femurs. And so the first day after the femur is actually not as bad as the tibias. And it was about a 7 out of 10 when the anesthesia wore off.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah, it was a 7, and then it went down to about a 6.5 to a 6, and then the next day it was about a 4. But after that, it was all harder than the tibia. It was just the painkillers that were different.
Usually it's the opposite, you know. Like most people suffer from femur bone.
Oh, it was, yeah, the femurs were much harder than the tibias. The only difference was just initially post-op, like those first 2 days, I had different painkillers. That's the only difference. Otherwise, the femurs were absolutely more difficult than the tibias.
Right, so I think that was quite informative and illuminative interview with you. So thank you so much.
No problem.
For telling us. So I think that's all.
Okay.
Thank you.